China stages record drills designed to encircle Taiwan. Syria introduces new post-Assad banknotes. Good afternoon, salam Malaysia. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brendan Paul. Malaysia assumed the ASEAN chairmanship at a time when the world was gripped by anxiety and uncertainty. Yet the region chose to remain anchored in the spirit of togetherness, dialogue and mutual respect. Prime Minister Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim, in his capacity as 2025 ASEAN Chair, said the 46th and 47th ASEAN Summits served as important platforms to unite views and bridge gaps among member states in addressing various regional and global challenges. In a Facebook post, Dr. Sri Anwar said this year also marked a historic moment when Timor-Leste was accepted as ASEAN's newest family member. He expressed his highest appreciation to all ASEAN partners as well as world leaders who attended with wisdom and sincerity in the interests of regional stability and a shared future. He also conveyed his gratitude to all Malaysians for the support and warm hospitality extended to guests throughout the chairmanship period. The Prime Minister added that this chairmanship has elevated Malaysia as a trusted partner in efforts to uphold peace, stability and hope in the region. Malaysia concluded its ASEAN chairmanship by handing over the responsibility to the Philippines for the 2026 edition. Meanwhile, ASEAN welcomed the outcomes of the third Special General Border Committee (GBC) meeting between Cambodia and Thailand held on Saturday, which resulted in a commitment to an immediate ceasefire and strict de-escalation measures. In a statement, Malaysia, as the ASEAN chair, expressed its support for the joint statement concluded by both countries at the Prum, Pailin Province, Cambodia, Ban Pakat, Chantaburi Province, Thailand, international point of entry. The ceasefire covers all types of weapons, including attacks on civilians, civilian objects and infrastructure, and military objectives of either side in all cases and in all areas. To ensure these commitments are honoured, ASEAN underscored the continuing importance of the ASEAN Observer Team, AOT, that noted that both neighbours have agreed to further strengthen the AOT's role. It said that the AOT will work in consultation with the ASEAN chair to verify and ensure the effective implementation of all agreed measures based on its mandate. The statement also reaffirmed the shared commitment to refrain from the use of force and to settle disputes by peaceful means in accordance with the United Nations Charter, ASEAN Charter, and Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia. China has launched live-fire military drills around Taiwan, saying the exercises simulate a blockade of the island's key ports. Taipei condemned the move as military intimidation. Beijing claims Taiwan as its territory and has not ruled out using force to take control. The drills follow a new round of U.S. arms sales to Taiwan. China warned that external forces backing Taipei are pushing the Taiwan Strait toward the risk of war. China's foreign ministry said any attempt to stop reunification would fail. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump said he was not concerned about the drills, saying he did not believe Chinese President Xi Jinping would order an invasion. The exercises come amid rising tensions across the Taiwan Strait. In Taiwan, fighter jets were seen taking off and landing at Hsinchu Air Base. Taiwan's Defense Ministry said its forces are preparing for the worst, calling the exercises a serious challenge for regional and international security. It also released footage of its own military capabilities, including US-made HIMARS rocket systems. Meanwhile, Taiwan's Coast Guard says it has deployed large vessels near its waters and is coordinating with the military to reduce disruption to shipping and fishing routes. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov claimed on Monday that Ukraine had tried to attack President Vladimir Putin's residence in northern Russia. And so Moscow's negotiating position would be reviewed, but Ukraine said it was a lie. Russia said Ukraine attacked the presidential residence in the Novgorod region overnight with 91 long-range drones, which were all destroyed by Russian air defenses. Lavrov said no one was injured and there was no damage. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the accusation was a lie, adding that Moscow was preparing the grounds to strike government buildings in Kyiv. He added that the Russian claim was an attempt to undermine peace talks. Lavrov said that targets had already been selected for retaliatory strikes by Russia's armed forces, adding that the attack amounted to state terrorism. Lavrov noted that the attack took place during negotiations about a possible Ukrainian peace deal, and that while Russia would not leave the negotiations, Moscow's position will be reviewed. It was not immediately clear if Putin was in the Dolgiye Borody or Longbeard's residence, which has been used in the past by Joseph Stalin, Nikita Khrushchev, Boris Yeltsin, and Putin. The United States has destroyed a docking area used by alleged drug smuggling boats in Venezuela. The strike marked an escalation from targeting boats at sea to hitting facilities on land.
But there was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs, so we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
The move comes as Washington steps up pressure on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who has accused the U.S. of seeking regime change. There has been no official response from the Venezuelan government, and the Pentagon referred questions to the White House. If confirmed, the strike would be the first known land attack in the U.S. campaign against drug trafficking from Latin America. Earlier, the U.S. military said 2 people were killed in a strike on a suspected drug smuggling boat in the Eastern Pacific. U.S. Southern Command said intelligence confirmed the vessel was operating along known drug trafficking routes. The military also released black and white videos showing the strike on the small boat. The latest incident brings the reported death toll in Washington's anti-narcotics campaign in the region to at least 107. On another note, Trump has warned Iran of fresh strikes and said Hamas would have hell to pay if it fails to disarm in Gaza. He made the remarks while meeting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Trump said the U.S. would eradicate any attempt by Iran to rebuild its nuclear or missile programs.
Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them, but hopefully that's not happening. I heard Iran wants to make a deal. If they want to make a deal, that's much smarter.
Trump also dismissed reports of tensions with Netanyahu over the next phase of the Gaza ceasefire, saying Israel had met its commitments and responsibilities now lies with Hamas. He warned the group must disarm within a short period. Hamas's armed wing has rejected that demand. Trump said he wants to move ahead with the next phase of the Gaza truce, including plans for a new Palestinian administration and an international stabilization force. Syria's President Ahmad al-Shara on Monday unveiled redesigned banknotes to replace those bearing images of ousted ruler Bashar al-Assad and his family, part of an effort to stabilize the currency and signal a break with the past after years of civil war. Improving the standing of the Syrian pound is among the greatest challenges for Syria's new authorities, who will remove 2 zeros in a process known as re-denomination. The new bills, which range from 10 to 500 Syrian pounds, will enter circulation on 1st January. After unveiling the banknotes, Sharaf said the new currency marks the end of a previous unlamented phase and the beginning of a new phase that the Syrian people aspire to.
تعديل الأصفار ونزع صفرين من العملة القديمة للعملة الجديدة لا يعني عدم تحسين الاقتصاد وتحسين حالة الصرف في البلد، وإنما هو سهولة في التعامل بين المجتمعين.
Since the start of Syria's civil war in 2011, the pound has plunged from 50 to around 11,000 against the greenback, and Syrians are forced to carry huge weights of banknotes, even for basic needs like grocery shopping. The removal of the zeros, which does not impact the currency's value, was done to make transactions easier and restore trust in the Syrian pound. Colombia's government will raise the country's minimum wage to 1.75 million pesos or $470 per month, a 22.7% increase. The new minimum wage, which applies to around 2.5 million workers across the Andean nation, will come into effect in 2026. The hike more than doubles the 9.54% increase made this year. It comes ahead of presidential election scheduled for May 2026. Now, the increase surpasses projected inflation, which the central bank estimates at 3.6% next year. Colombian President Gustavo Petro acknowledged the move could put pressure on prices. The new wage was set by decree after business associations and trade unions failed to reach an agreement. In addition, Petro announced a transport subsidy for workers earning up to 2 minimum wages, bringing total monthly remuneration to 2 million pesos. Bangladesh's former Prime Minister, Khaleda Zia, dies at 80. Stay with us.
Padamkan komputer untuk lebih penjimatan.
Bangladesh's former Prime Minister and BNP leader Khaleda Zia has died at the age of 80. Zia, who has vowed to campaign in the country's February 2026, passed away early in the morning after Fajr prayers. Her party described her as a source of utmost inspiration and called on citizens to pray for her soul. Zia was jailed in 2018 under corruption charges during Sheikh Hasina's government but was released last year following Hasina's removal from power. Her son, Tariq Rahman, returned to Bangladesh last week after 17 years in exile and will now lead the BNP into the upcoming general election. Indonesian police are conducting identification procedures for 16 people killed in a fire that broke out at a nursing home in Manado, the capital of North Sulawesi province. Local authorities said the victims' bodies are being identified at Bayangkara Hospital of the North Sulawesi Regional Police. The fire at the nursing home also injured 3 others. Jimu Rotinsulu, the head of the Fire and Rescue Agency in the city of Manado, said firefighters received report of the blaze at the Werda Damai retirement home at 8:31 p.m. local time on Sunday. He said many of the deceased were in an unrecognizable condition. Many bodies of the victims were found inside their rooms, Jimmy said, adding that many of the elderly residents were likely resting in their rooms in the evening when the fire broke out. He said authorities managed to evacuate 12 people, all unhurt, and transfer them to a local hospital. Footage aired by local broadcasters showed the fire engulfing the nursing home, but locals helped to evacuate an elderly person. Police are still investigating the cause of the blaze, which was put out at around 9:30 p.m. Earlier this month, a fire also tore through a 7-story office building in Indonesia's capital, Jakarta, killing at least 22 people. Forensic investigators have arrived at the scene of a deadly train derailment in southern Mexico as authorities launched a full investigation into the disaster. The crash near the town of Nizanda killed at least 13 people and injured dozens more. Mexican Marines and National Guard troops secured the sites, while families gathered at nearby hospitals searching for loved ones. Torrential rains have caused severe flooding across southern and eastern Spain, leaving 3 people dead. Overflowing rivers swept away cars and motorcycles, prompting authorities to urge residents to stay indoors. In Valencia, which was hit by deadly floods last year, emergency red alerts were sent to residents' phones, warning them to remain inside and move to higher ground. Still in Spain, an avalanche killed 3 people and left 1 person injured. The avalanche happened on the western side of Pico Tablado, near the Panticosa ski resort. The victims were part of a group of 6 people who were cross-country skiing. 3 were killed, 1 injured, while 2 members of the group managed to escape and call for help. In Rio de Janeiro, worshippers honored the Afro-Brazilian sea goddess Yamanta on Copacabana Beach as part of year-end celebrations. Devotees, many dressed in white, took part in the traditional procession, offering flowers, letters, alcoholic drinks and beauty products to the sea goddess, seeking blessings for the year ahead. The ritual included drumming, singing and dancing, culminating in prayers for peace and prosperity in 2026. Coming up, Morocco crushes Zambia to reach AFCON last 16. See you this.
Guna mentol jimat tenaga untuk lebih jimat.
The national men's youth futsal squad did not return home empty-handed as the young squad secured 3rd place at the 2025 ASEAN Under-19 Futsal Championship after defeating Vietnam 4-3 in a penalty shootout in Bangkok, Thailand yesterday. In a hard-fought third-place playoff, the winner had to be decided by penalties after the match ended in a 2-2 draw. The national squad showed great resilience, coming back from behind twice to change the course of the game. Vietnam initially led 1-0 in the first half, following a goal by Nguyen Trong Huang, long in the 5th minute. Malaysia, under the guidance of coach Rakpol Sainatgam, eventually found the equalizer through Iqbal Hazim Radzi in the 39th minute. High drama unfolded in the final moments of the match when Nguyen Tak Kyo scored Vietnam's 2nd goal in the 40th minute. However, Malaysia levelled the score once again through Aidil Zakwan just seconds later. For the record, the ASEAN Under-19 Futsal Championship was organised for the first time alongside the Under-16 age group competition. Ayub El-Kabi scored twice as Morocco defeated Zambia 3-0, securing top spot in Group A and a place in the Africa Cup of Nations last 16. El-Kabi opened the scoring with a header and ended an overhead kick after half-time, both set up by Azzedine Ounahi. Brahim Diaz also scored Morocco's 2nd goal, completing a fine team move. African Player of the Year Ashraf Hakimi returned from injury, coming off the bench in the 64th minute. Morocco will host their round of 16 match in Rabat on Sunday, facing one of the best 3rd-place finishers. Zambia, champions in 2012, exit the tournament without a win in 4 appearances. FIFA President Gianni Infantino defended the ticket prices for next year's World Cup in the United States, Canada and Mexico, citing heavy demands and the revenue it generates for the sport around the world. Earlier this month, fan groups had slammed the ticket prices, which are often several times more costly than equivalent matches in the 2022 edition. The Football Supporters Association also described it as scandalous. FIFA later launched a $60 ticket tier to make the tournament more affordable for fans or qualified teams.
We started 2 weeks ago. Well, I can tell you because in 2 weeks, in 15 days, we received 150 million ticket requests. 150 million ticket requests. So 10 million ticket requests every single day. This shows how powerful the World Cup is.
The FIFA president said fans from the US have made the highest number of ticket requests, followed by Germany and the United Kingdom. Infantino added that the money raised through ticket sales will be reinvested into the global game, although he did not specify an amount. Barcelona defender Ronald Araujo returned to training on Monday, 1 month after being granted time off to address his mental health. Araujo, 26, has made 15 appearances for Barca this season but has not returned since November's Champions League defeat to Chelsea when he was sent off. After the Chelsea game, the centre-back requested some time off to help him refocus and recover his form. The request was immediately accepted by the club. During the past month, Araujo has spent time in Bethlehem and Jerusalem. He then returned to his native Uruguay, where he trained alone over the Christmas period. Araujo then flew back to Barcelona this past weekend and subsequently took part in Monday's open training session at the Estadi Johan Cruyff as the La Liga leaders got back to work after a week off. Hansi Flick's side is preparing for Saturday's trip to local rivals Espanyol, who have won their past 5 league games as football in Spain resumes after a short winter break. Araujo is expected to come into contention for that game, while Pedri and Dani Olmo are also pushing to be available after missing the win over Villarreal last time out. Barca then turned their attention to the Spanish Supercopa with a semi-final against Athletic Club in Saudi Arabia on 7 January, followed by a potential final against either Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid. In other news, the Olympic flame was carried up a rock face and down a zip line as it wound its way through southern Italy on Monday. It was one of the most spectacular and exciting days of the entire route, combining iconic places, breathtaking landscapes, and the presence of great athletes on the journey that took the flame from Basilicata to Puglia. The 22nd leg of the Olympic torch relay began in the picturesque city of Matera in the Basilicata region, with the flame delighting onlookers as it climbed the city's hilly streets. From Matera, the relay continued to Altamura, Gioia del Colle, Massafra and Crispiano, and ended the day in Taranto, a city known for straddling 2 seas. The day's leg was full of adventure, with the Olympic flame being carried up a rock face with spectacular mountain views over a zip line and even down a summer sledge track. The flame will continue its journey through the regions of Italy, arriving in Cortina d'Ampezzo on 26 January, exactly 70 years after the kickoff of the 1956 Games at the same venue, before reaching Milan's San Siro Stadium in time for the opening ceremony on 6 February. British former world heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua was involved in a car accident in Nigeria's Ogun State that killed 2 of his close friends. Joshua, 36, sustained minor injuries when the vehicle he was in collided with another car. Ogun State Police Command said the cause of the accident was being investigated. Nigeria's Federal Road Safety Corps said 5 men had been involved in the accident on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Joshua suffered minor injuries, 2 people lost their lives and 2 walked away unhurt. The FRSC confirmed that Joshua had been taken to a hospital for checks and treatment, adding that he was stable and would remain under observation. The FRC said preliminary findings suggest the vehicle was likely speeding when it lost control during an overtaking maneuver and crashed into a stationary truck parked by the roadside. Officials have not said who was driving the car in which Joshua was traveling. The accident occurred just over a week after he knocked out American social media star Jake Paul in the 6th round of a bout in Miami. Joshua was returning to the ring after a 15-month layoff. He is expected to fight longtime rival and fellow Briton Tyson Fury in 2026.
My Card bukan sekadar kad pengenalan, tetapi medium utama yang menghubungkan rakyat dengan pelbagai perkhidmatan kerajaan dan swasta. Banyak insentif kerajaan disalurkan melalui My Card, daripada bantuan kebajikan, kemudahan kesihatan hinggalah pelbagai program rakyat. Inilah keistimewaan yang dimiliki oleh setiap warga negara Malaysia. Sila periksa keadaan My Card anda. Sekiranya chip rosak, hilang atau My Card sudah uzur, segera lakukan penggantian di Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara agar hak dan kemudahan anda sentiasa terjamin. Inilah komitmen madani. Dengan dokumen identiti yang sah, moden dan diyakini, rakyat disantuni sebaiknya. My Card, identiti anda, kebanggaan negara.
And that's it on World Today. In our top story, China stages record drills designed to encircle Taiwan. Till then, I'm Brendan Paul. Salam Malaysia Madani. Thank you for watching and take care.